Welcome to another edition of Healthier, Happier You on location at Bethany Montecalvo's house. I'm Al Levine, the Talking Machine. I'm glad to present this Healthier, Happier You edition to you. And I have my China gunpowder.
Love it.
Steeped earlier with Bethany and myself. Enjoy a sip.
I dig it.
Nice
I
flavor.
dig it.
I'm glad you could partake in it with me. We have a great show. We're going to discuss the Mediterranean diet with you, so stay tuned. Thanks for not changing that dial. Al Levine, the Talking Machine, here with my co-host and founder, Bethany Montecalvo. Please tell us more about the Mediterranean diet.
Okay, I shall. So, whenever our last talk, when we decided what to do, you brought up a really good point. You want to talk about like a Mediterranean diet. And I was like, I dig that.
I'm glad I piqued your interest.
You did. You did. So, I wanted to go over some things and things that we both know, but some things that maybe we didn't know just from kind of researching and kind of describe to you what it is, but some things that I really don't really understand about it, to be honest with you.
Sure.
So
it truly is foreign to us.
It is. It is foreign. So a Mediterranean diet is truly like a celebration. It is a lifestyle. They really don't consider it like a diet. Here in America, we have all these fads.
Sure, we got 50 diets.
We do.
Maybe
What are you
more.
on? I'm on keto. I'm on Mediterranean. it's exhausting.
I'm South Beach and
Yeah.
Modified Atkins.
Yeah, and I'm just like, whoa, that's a lot of diets, guys. But for the most part, they really believe that this is a really awesome lifestyle, and they really don't count. They don't count macros. They don't count the proteins. It's a very different type of diet.
They just eat.
They just eat, which is pretty freeing if you think about it. And it's interesting because you heard of the place in Greece because he's a history buff.
Yeah.
I am learning. So whenever...
Welcome aboard.
Thank you, thank you. So whenever I was doing some research and it said Crete, which was an island in Greece.
Sure, just off the coast of Greece.
Yeah, yes. So this
In the Mediterranean.
Yes.
Hence
Mediterranean diet. There you go, right? So it made sense to me because, one, it's things that grow in their habitat. It's things that are indigenous to there.
Sure.
They're not importing a lot in, which in America, let's be real, unless you live on a farm, and it's still tough, we import a lot of our foods in.
Sure.
And this diet actually helps so much with lowering the rate of heart disease and different types of deaths and just disease in general.
No, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It truly is. It's a healthy lifestyle.
It is. So it's like in different places and countries, they have something that we don't. You know, if you think about it, and I say this with the most, well, I'm just going to say it. I feel like Americans, because everyone came here from different places, we literally kind of took everything. We don't really
put
have
it in
our
a pot.
own. Yeah. We have like kind of our own mixing pot. So for me, when I travel and I see different places, it so inspires me. It lights like a fire in my soul because these people have something.
Sure.
And it's just God-given and it's there and it never goes away. It was from birth till death.
Can't beat that.
Can't beat that. So it's pretty interesting. So I wanted to kind of chat about like normal fruit and veggies.
Sure.
If an American diet, or 2 to 3 servings.
Sure.
And then we were talking about that in the Mediterranean diet, it's 9 to 15 servings of fruit and veggies.
Amazing.
Yeah, I was just saying, like, how do they work? If you're eating all these fruits and veggies every
They
day.
do a lot of grazing all day.
They do a lot of grazing because I look at my diet and it's high in protein and fat and veggies, but it's not really, can't
Well, you're
call it
more towards the
Mediterranean
keto.
because it's keto, right?
Yeah.
But I have at every meal 85 grams of mixed greens. If you look at 85 grams, guys, laid down on a table, it's like this, fluffy. It's a lot of greens. So they're eating themselves some greens, and it is a lot. And it's also fruits too. A lot of people in diets, depending on the diets, I feel are sometimes scared of fruits.
Sure.
Because they're high in sugar, and they're like, well, I can't
Right.
eat fruits. It's not good for you. Can't eat a banana first of the day because what it does and yada yada,
Yeah.
and how it, your stomach breaks
You're
it
right.
down.
There's so much negativity on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for here, it's just like, well, this is what we have in our crops. This is what we're going to eat today, which is also very interesting to me. Doesn't that kind of interest you if you think about it?
I'm already interested.
Yeah.
I'm aware of it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and the thing is, like, as far as just the different types of what are the main things are, it's a lot of olive oil.
Sure.
But it's healthy olive oil. Yes.
Little prop.
A little prop, and this is totally from America Trader Joe's. I'm just going to be real with you. But that's what I had in my kitchen. I actually don't use olive
let
oil
me take
a lot.
a sip.
You could sniff it and see if it's real. Though I did some research, and they said for America, how's it sniff?
Good.
Do you good?
Very
That's
flavorful.
Good. That's good. That's great. So I did some research on Trader Joe's, and they said that it's reasonably good. It's not like a super high grade, but it's really, really good.
Well, as a little sidebar, you have to watch because a lot of it's produced in Italy, and guess what? They were cheating on the olive oil.
What do you
And it
mean?
wasn't being like virgin olive oil. They were like watering it down and putting other things in there. So you have
See?
to actually watch the Italian virgin olive oil that you get.
Wow.
Because so many of the companies, for whatever reason, they make more money.
Yeah.
They cheat on the olive oil.
I dilute it. What all companies do,
So
they
I've
just
been
dilute it
buying
down.
some from Spain and other countries.
Aren't you fancy?
Yes.
I like it. I like it a lot. So that's interesting. Well, another thing that I read was there's certain olive oils if it's a good nutritious olive oil, when it's cooked, it could help medicinally, like Tylenol.
Excellent. I never
Which is
heard that.
me neither. It was very, very fascinating to me.
Great research.
Great, thank you, thank you. So they do a lot of olive oil. They do a lot of mint. Like this is my little mint plant. Don't laugh because I just harvested. I just like pulled all the buds off, and I cook with it.
Oh,
put it
I
in
gotta
water.
take a leaf right now.
Go
This
ahead,
will go
do,
with my tea.
do it,
What?
do it. Let's both do a little leafy. I dig it. I dig
Very
it.
flavorful.
Did you get the flavor?
I got a
love
burst.
it. So it's so fun for me to be able to cook with certain just herbs, just ones if it's basil or oregano or mint, just because it's right there. But it's interesting that they just use high amounts of olive oil, herbs, and spices. They're not afraid of it. They use like a lot of it, which
Really?
that makes a lot of sense to me. But
Well, they grow it right there, so they're gonna eat it.
that's true because I'm chewing on my mint leaf. So
That's
it's
okay.
indigenous to where they grow, so that makes sense. But they also do a lot of beans.
Sure.
Like they
I
said
didn't
3 or
realize
4
that.
times. Me neither. I did some research, but they do it 3 or 4 times a week to be able to have
What
all
kind
those
of beans?
That's a good question.
I
don't
gotta
know the
test
answer.
you.
I don't know
We'll
that answer.
dig into that
We will
later.
dig into that. I found that very interesting. And they don't do a lot of cheese. It's
I know.
small amounts of cheese.
I'm surprised also, and you're gonna tread on the meat that they
Yeah.
don't put a lot of meat in things.
Okay, so
just minimal.
So let's talk about that. It's very small amounts of fish meat, which is interesting to me, and chicken. And normally when they do it, it's almost like in a casserole dish. It's
Sure.
not like Americans
like little
where
pieces.
it's all yes, it's our sole source of protein. But okay, riddle me this. This is what I don't understand. So if you are trying to be able to keep one of these in here,
Whoa, look
yeah,
at those
I know.
biceps.
Watch out. What happened? Like, I don't really know any other way to be able to keep my protein, to be able to gain that muscle.
They may be doing protein supplements
Okay.
because to boost your muscles, you need that.
Yeah, because I'm just thinking about, okay, let's look at their genre. Let's look at how they're built. Let's look at what they look like.
Well, the Greeks started the Olympics, so they were into sports in their bodies.
They were Greek gods.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Definitely. So
Guys, we're
there's
pretty
some,
fly. Just saying.
there is some history in that.
There is some history in that, but there's a diet for every type of body, whatever you want to look like. If you want to grow this, if you want to be skinny here, if you want to do this, it is almost an art to be able to do that. So
Sure.
I'm pretty sure with this diet, just doing the research, this is just a normal average Joe that
Sure.
isn't looking to compete, that isn't looking to have a certain structure, but to be able to just live a healthy diet and to be able to have
look
free
good
of
and
heart.
feel good.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
No, it makes sense.
And it was interesting because they said that most islands drink a lot of alcohol, coffee and water.
What a shocker.
Yeah, it's part of their. It's just
Their culture.
yeah.
Yeah. It makes sense.
So it's just eat and drink and
Well,
be
they
merry.
have grapes, so they're going to let them
That's true.
ferment a little.
They also, that's true, do it in the natural, which is
Yeah.
different. But this diet is also a lot of fat and carbs,
Sure.
which there isn't a lot of protein. So,
How do you maintain your weight?
well, that's what I mean. And especially if you're not counting your calories or macros, they're saying you can eat nuts throughout your entire day,
Sure.
all the time, because nuts will make you feel full, but never at your meal. And
Interesting.
Yeah, because your meal you should get full with something else. So during the day they're just like grazing on nuts. That's a whole lot of fat without a protein to cut. So if you think about it, with our protein and we have fat, let's say avocado, that really helps our mitochondria. Our mitochondria, if we use a good healthy fat, helps us to walk, talk, to
Each
be able
of
to
your
move.
cells,
Yes,
yeah.
exactly. But if you're feeding that with a sugar complex carb, it actually kind of like reverses and it stresses out the body, and it's almost like a fight or flight. You're forcing it to do it on a
Interesting.
different, yeah.
They've done this for 1,000 years or more.
Yeah. So it's interesting to look at the studies and to be able to understand, but also like I'm also interested like who's doing the studies. Just like the big
Sure.
pharma, like if you have a new drug out, you know, they're gonna
or
have
the olive oil company.
Exactly. Like statistically, whenever you do a new drug, they'll do 80 studies. Out of 80 or 100 studies, just 2 studies have to be positive for that drug. And then basically all the other facts just gets locked away into a far, far away place never to see
Sure.
again. So it's like, is that what's going on, or is there something more holistic that's going on? It's just interesting to like
I
understand.
think more holistic.
Yeah, that makes me feel better too, to think that too, that everyone, there's peace somewhere where people are trying to do it the right way.
Well, even look at independent studies on heart disease,
That's true.
where they're saying there's a lot less heart disease in these Mediterranean diet countries.
That you're
And
right.
look at America, we're
Look at
out
us.
of control
We're
here. Men and
absolute
women are
dying
about
daily.
the same with
That's
heart
true.
problems. Mm-hmm. You know, and who would think that? And you're trying to eat healthy, but you're actually not.
Right, and that's like the thing. As far as Americans, do we really know what eating healthy is? Who are we listening to? Where are we getting our factual
Great
evidence
question.
from? You know, people are just, we're following so many fads, and I think instead of listening to our bodies, I think everyone's body is amazingly created different. And if we don't follow what our body needs, some people, they don't have the enzyme to break down that meat. So they
Sure.
generally can't do meat. Other people generally need it. Like if they're anemic, there's, you know, the lack of B vitamins. It's
Sure.
just a sketchy thing. So I really would like to encourage you guys, to not just follow along with something. Be okay with getting your blood tested. Even if your doctor doesn't support that, which they normally don't. We've
Yeah.
had conversations
Yes.
about this. Fight for it. It's your body. You want to know what you're low in. You want to check all your levels. It's okay to do that.
Well, even like D3, as you see, I have a tan.
Yeah.
The sun,
See, I
20
don't-
minutes, you get 20,000 IUs of D3. I had my blood checked to see what my D levels
Yeah.
were, if they were normal.
Yeah.
And usually they're between 20 and 50. I think I was in the 40s.
Really?
So, and that's just
Really?
going there out there in the sun and keeping
And
it that.
it's free.
Yeah.
If it's free, it's for me.
And as I'm sipping tea on my deck, work on a little sun. We can't
got a
reach it
little-
today. It's right out of reach to us.
It's
but,
there. It's there. And another
but little tips like that
Oh,
you can
absolutely.
add, and it doesn't
I agree
take
with
much
that.
time.
I agree with that. And like other things I want to, like as far as their meat there, it also goes with they believe in having grass-fed meat
Makes a difference.
rather than, just farm raised. And it's interesting too, as we talked about it, because when it's grass-fed, they're eating that grass and they're getting that B vitamin that you actually can't get if it's grain. So people are telling
Sure.
you to eat different types of meat, but yet if your cow isn't able to like graze outside and eat that
If
grass,
he's in a stall,
yeah,
guess what? Forget
It's
about it. Just
impossible.
like chickens. If they're running free,
Yeah.
that helps.
It does. And do you know, that brings me to an interesting fact. The little chickadees, they have them eat a certain herb, that the herb makes them have high amounts more omegas than other
Yeah.
chickens because they feed them a certain herb, which is
Wow.
interesting. So they definitely care, and they definitely care about being free range as well. And I think that's something that in America, like how do
We need to get back to that.
yeah, but it's almost like, how do we do that? How do we do that living where we live and being able to get something free range? I know specifically a farmer, he's maybe 15 minutes from this.
Whoa, right from
20,
here.
yeah, right from here. But like, this is the thing. He does the best he can as far as feeding. He spends a lot of money, and he's a small farmer, on feeding his chickens and geese and ducks. But
Yeah.
you know what he told me was, he said, everyone wants soy free, but the animals don't like soy free. They prefer soy.
Get out to
yeah,
eat.
Yeah. And he said it's really difficult. And he said because they're like dying, and it's really hard for them to be able to
Sure.
like carry on during the day. And he said it's what they want, but it's difficult. And I asked, I was like, were you certified organic? And he said that certification costs tens of thousands of dollars.
Really?
And he said, and it's a very lengthy process. So he said it's very difficult for us as small farmers to be able to have that and to be
Sure,
able
and
to
to get
provide that.
certification. Yeah.
It really is. And it's really difficult when you're a small farmer too. I get eggs from them. And what happens is whenever you have all your chickadees and they're laying eggs, and if you're not quick to pull them before they fertilize,
Yeah. You
they
have
start to
chickens in there.
fertilize.
Yeah.
And with small places, normally they have a machine where they could run them through the light to make sure that you could see
Sure.
if it fertilizes. And I have to say, on like numerous occasions,
You have some.
I found a fully fertilized egg whenever I was
Oh.
cooking it, that I could see the fetus. And I just thought, okay, like these things, I understand they happen, but it's almost like I understand it's really difficult to be
Sure.
able to get something pure and good, and to have a small business and kind of lack, because he's
Sure.
running around all day trying to provide good service. But if you don't pull those and you have 50 chickens, they lay all the time throughout
Sure.
the day. How do you know?
I know.
So it's
What a battle he
yeah,
has.
so it's a very tough thing to do. And as far as the chickens that people sell, like, to be honest, I wish I lived somewhere where I could go and get a clean kill. And a clean kill, truly, guys, this sounds really inhumane, but it's not. A clean kill is across the throat, they cut the artery, and they pass immediately, rather than them
Strangulation and all the
yeah,
rest.
shooting them in the head, them not dying, crying, their feces come out, they regurgitate, they eat it back. And listen, I'm not like hocus
You're
pocus.
very graphic here.
Yeah, it is, because I feel like the people like kind of need to understand. And I do believe in energy. I don't believe in alternate force. Like, I 100% believe in God, but I know what we're made up as far as energy. And I believe if that animal is raised with love and it's raised in a good environment, it's able to be able to walk outside, that energy gets transferred to us.
Makes sense.
So if it's a bad atmosphere, we're actually eating that. And do you guys know, as far as your meat, if, let's say, Wendy's, McDonald's, all fast foods, they put all their meat through a radiation belt, all their meat, before you even eat it. So you're already getting a dose of radiation, because they don't know if it has cancer. So they just figure if it
Radiate
does,
everything.
they'll radiate and kill it. So the meat isn't even alive. It's not even nutritious for us. We're eating like dead food. It's just like microwave food. And then do you know if it has cancer? And if they'll just
This is
cut around
terrible.
the cancer, and then they'll just give you the meat. They'll still package it.
Get
they'll
out.
still do it. Mm-hmm.
That's terrible.
So yeah, and one of my friends, they actually own, my friend Ashley and Andrew, his family owns Simmons Farm. And he said, when you get something organic, like, you have to look and make sure things are certified. Like, it's actually has that, it says certified organic. And I was like, why? If
Yeah.
it says organic. And he said, because they could put anything on the label, you just want to make sure it actually says certified organic. So it does
It means
matter
something,
to
yeah.
pay a little bit more with that too. But I also heard, just to be real with you guys, because this is local, I thought, well, Whole Foods is way better than Giant Eagle because kosher and whatnot.
Sure.
Well, I had a little friend, there was a little employee that said that basically Giant Eagle is way more kosher than Whole Foods. I was like, why
Really?
would you say that? I was like, it's such a big, huge place.
Right.
And he said, I worked in the meat packing, and he said Giant Eagle was kosher. They wouldn't transfer plates or cutting boards. They said Whole Foods doesn't care. So
Oh.
really, like when they're
They
packaging.
just mix it up.
Yeah. So I just thought, man, like I'm going in there spending an arm and a leg, and
What a
it
wealth
really-
of information we're getting that they've misdirected you.
Yeah. Which, and again, because Whole Foods is now bought by Amazon,
Yeah.
so not saying that Whole Foods was a wonderful place to shop before. It was. It gave us some really wonderful alternative
Sure.
foods. But that doesn't mean there weren't processed foods. You have to be knowledgeable going in there, knowing what you're buying.
Wow, you got to dig deep.
You do. But now
Yeah.
with Amazon, they're like pulling in some caca products that like I don't
Ah.
appreciate. But I understand business, and I understand our goal is to be able to make money.
Yeah. And that's what America's about, and the conglomerates and all the rest. That's
Yeah.
why our food, when you talk
Sure.
about apples and, different vegetables, they farm the same land. They don't rotate crops. So the nutrition value is down like 70, 80% from what it was in the 20s.
Right.
100 years ago.
Right.
So imagine that. What they tell you, an apple a day, you might need 10 apples a day.
That's true. And like an apple a day, I'm sorry, I am finding it funny because I'm waiting for Dave to get upset. The cat is in his, I'm sure, expensive clean camera bag trying to like make a nest.
Well, she's playing with her tail.
That's right, playing with her tail.
Oh, I scared her when I dropped my phone.
Well, that's good. She's out of the bag. But this is the thing, as far as like an apple, our apples and grapes are like this here. When I went to different countries, like the apples were like this.
Yeah.
And they were bruised because they fell off the tree and they weren't shiny. And
How'd they taste?
amazing. I remember when I went to the Philippines because Dole, the pineapple, that
Yeah.
switched to the Philippines
Sure,
to grow.
sure.
And this was like 3-4 years ago. She's like, taste the pineapple. I was like, babe, I've tasted pineapples. I'm good. Like, let me have something I've never had before. And so I tasted the pineapple. It tasted completely different than America. The color
Really?
was different.
Wow.
And the
That's
juice
amazing.
was,
Sweet.
yeah, it was amazing. So for us, we really don't understand what natural is unless we literally be harvesting it in our backyard. And
Good point.
and that's difficult because of our weather. If you look at our weather, if you think about it, we have bad weather, not bad weather, but not like Florida or different
Hold
types
it.
of.
We're from Pittsburgh. If we're not complaining about the weather, something's wrong with us.
That's right. So I don't feel bad about saying it.
Yes. And it was
Yeah.
a rainy summer, and now it's rainy this
Yeah,
fall.
but it's hard. Yes.
Who knew?
Who would have thought? Who would have thunk it?
Who'd have thunk it?
But that's the thing with Pittsburgh. It's difficult to be able to grow if you don't have good seasons. So
I think we're going to have to be winding this down. You've put so much
We-
information out there.
we have
I
3
think
minutes and 55
my internal
seconds.
clock goes off every so often.
You're good.
During a half hour. So.
That's pretty crazy. You're good.
Yeah, thank you. I'm blessed that way.
You are blessed, my friend. We're both blessed. We're thankful. Do you have anything else you'd like to
No,
to,
I
to
just
say?
wanted to tell people just with tomatoes that you
Oh,
got.
yeah.
I do a little
Yeah.
combination with tomatoes and peppers, either green or red peppers.
Yeah.
Cut them up, let it marinate in a bowl with olive oil,
Ooh.
and it makes a good meal over a couple days.
Ooh,
But
I love that.
I don't eat it all in one day, and I season it up with olive oil and some black pepper and
You kind of let it percolate,
yeah,
do its
so-
thing in there.
Yeah, and
Ooh.
it's very flavorful.
And if you don't
Especially
have meat
fresh
with it, does it
fresh
keep you full?
tomatoes, well, especially from tomatoes from the garden. People
Yeah.
were giving me lots of tomatoes, and before they went bad, I go, I'll put 8 in here and do that. Put a couple peppers
You
in
don't
there
wanna
with
waste it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and it actually filled me up.
For like for a couple hours,
Yeah,
like it
yeah.
keeps. And that's a good alternative. But and there's something else that, real quickly, I want to share off of your tomatoes. One of my best girlfriends has a little girl who's 2 years old. They live on a lot of land and they grow some of
Nice.
their own things. I said, "Are you going to take your daughter to like public school?" And she's like, "Well, I wanted a private school or blah blah blah." And she said, "Do you know if you send your kids to school without meat in their lunch that they could red flag you and
You're
have you turn
kidding.
into social services. I was like, no, they can't. She said,
How
yes,
can
they
this
can.
even happen in America?
Right? And she said, my daughter will eat, and she's 2, a whole cucumber, half of an avocado, and some tomatoes for lunch.
She's good.
And she said, she's good. She's full. Like, I'll feed her what she wants.
Yeah.
So it's just interesting how America perceives things, but yet they're sending their kids there with cancer-infested meat. I'm just going to say it. Sorry,
Yeah.
guys. And to be able to have things that are processed and you have no fruit or veggies, but
Sure.
yet, you know, you're going to have someone governing how you could treat your child on what they need to eat.
Unbelievable. I didn't
Just
know that.
saying.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
we've covered a lot
We have.
here today.
We have.
Thanks for all that
yes.
research, my friend.
Yes, thank
A
you.
bunch of it I did know, but you gave
I
me some
know.
highlights with the celebration of the meal.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
nice, very festive,
Thank
and very
you.
fulfilling.
Yeah.
I mean, who would think?
I know.
9 to 15
I know.
servings of veggies.
I know. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
So you guys better keep it up. Get up on your 9 to 15 servings of fruit and veggies
Here's
a day.
how simple. Go for the Mediterranean diet. Not much meat,
Try it.
plenty of veggies.
Yeah. Graze on nuts throughout the day. Have
Eat nuts. I like
avocado.
pistachios, almonds.
why
Can't
not?
go wrong.
Exactly.
It's all good.
It is all good. I dig it.
Definitely. And thanks for tuning in to our Healthier, Happier You. Please like our page. We appreciate the likes. We try to post current information and our latest show. And this will be up shortly, so hope you enjoy the show. And stay tuned for our next show. We're debating on what we're going to talk about.
Yeah, we are.
So we'll have
Yeah.
another show for you. Thanks to Dave Cable and BPTV for
Yes.
filming us on location at Bethany's house.
Yes. All right, guys. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. We'll see you soon.